Hi, everyone. It's great to join you today. We are talking about how to connect with your sales prospect using emotional triggers during this office time with me. Just to give you a bit of background, I'm a serial entrepreneur. And before that, actually, I was a television journalist, but now I'm a serial entrepreneur and I'm now onto my third company, and I am sharing uh, lessons and tips and information I've learned now after starting and owning three companies with individuals who are interested in growing their businesses. In particular, and I'm talking to women and minority entrepreneurs who want to scale their businesses beyond $1 million in annual revenue. And why do I say that group? Because statistics show that a very small percentage of women and minority entrepreneurs actually have businesses that generate more than $1 million in revenue. And most want to have a business that scales and grows, but there are a lot of challenges in a lot of instances as to why they can't scale. So, fortunately, with my entrepreneurial experience, I've been able to accomplish that, and our clients in several of my companies are very large corporations. Think federal agencies, think like NASA, Department of Commerce, and others, some of the largest Fortune 500 companies. And so, my goal here during this time that we have together every week is to share some of those insights I've learned. So, what I want to talk to you today is about how do you connect with your potential sales prospect using emotional triggers. And so, a little bit ago, I wrote down my thoughts about this. And one of the things that is important to know about that is a lot of individuals struggle with sales. Entrepreneurs in particular, while they're great at what they do and their area of expertise, sometimes the sales prospect or the sales process, I should say, can be very intimidating. It turns out that it's actually something I very much like to do, but I like it in particular because besides having companies that provide solutions, in one case I have a technology company, and others that are actual solutions that they want and need to achieve their goals. I very much enjoy connecting with people. So how does that work in the construct of doing sales? So one of the things to think about is when you think about your potential prospects, the types of clients, and in this case, I'm talking about companies and large organizations, whether federal, state, local. Think about what are some of their emotional triggers. So what I mean by emotional triggers, things that are happening in their business that really impact them to the point that they have emotional feelings around that. So the way I do that is first, especially when I'm uh, looking at a new company. And by the way, this is the kinds of things that we train our sales professionals on. And I didn't know this off the bat. I learned this. I brought in very sophisticated sales consultants who do what we call consultative sale. And so some of these tips and things that I'm imparting to you are based on what I've learned over the years now with three companies. So one of the things that you want to think about is their problems, their core problems, and the emotional triggers around that. And then think about how your solution solves that. So, for example, you might want to make a list of the challenges and the dissatisfactions they're probably facing at this moment in time. And with that, then think about how your solution helps with those kinds of challenges or dissatisfaction. So here are some examples. For example, a challenge or something that's dissatisfying to them, it surrounds reducing costs. Boy, isn't that a focus right now in 2020, especially as we are in the fall of this year, and a lot of companies are facing economic challenges, are being forced to cut their budgets. Obviously, we know that there are a lot of layoffs occurring. So reducing costs is a big thing, and there's a lot of emotion tied to that need to accomplish that. Thinking also about worry. There are some of your decision makers and influencers actually worried. I mean, if you or we, and especially in my company, we can help solve those. You're actually solving something that actually can cause them to be staying up at night or focused a lot on that challenge. Another could be, for example, they need to increase their speed. The other thing is in particular now is a lot of stakeholders in companies, those your decision makers and influencers, need to focus on improving cash flow. That's directly correlated to reducing costs. So one of the things that you can think about when you're prospecting, and prospecting can be whether you're calling, whether you're sending an email, those kinds of things, you might want to raise the question such as, are you interested in saving money, right? You're directly correlating what you're about to set up to an emotional trigger. Could your company benefit from increased cash flow would be another. Increasing effectiveness of your team and efficiency. Would you be of interest to hear more about how you can do that? The goal is, and by the way, this can happen if you're having a brief conversation, if you pick up the phone and you call someone. The goal of this connecting at this stage using emotional triggers is that it gives you the credence and the authority from them to move to the next step, which is to now then have a meaningful meeting where you can discuss and question what their challenges are, get more knowledge and information, and then talk about your company and the solution that you can provide to help them. So think about emotional triggers. Think about the things that are keeping them up at night. Then do your research, make a list of those things, then think about your company and your solution and how it can help with those emotional triggers, and then use those questions in the initial connections. And boy, if reducing cash flow was improving cash flow, not reducing cash flow, improving cash flow or reducing costs was something that was keeping me up at night, and someone said, I have a way to do that, and gave me some initial information, I'd say, it's worth my time to engage with this person. Or sometimes in large corporations, they might say, you know what, I'm going to share your information with so-and-so in our company or in our division so that he or she can then take the next step with you. The goal of this simply is to make a connection rather than just pitching. And this is this is avoiding a lot of mistakes that people who don't like sales or haven't really had a lot of training on consultative selling. Consultative selling is really about sharing with your customers how you can, quote unquote, be a consultant to them to help them achieve their goals versus just saying, here's what I got, take a look, you need this kind of thing. So using emotional triggers. So why do we have this weekly office time with me? We do because over the years, I've been asked many times over if I would mentor entrepreneurs. And I have, in particular, I have a very fast scaling company called BiasSync, a company that provides a technology solution to assess, manage, and mitigate unconscious bias. And as you can imagine right now, there is a lot of appetite for what we have. And so often when I've gotten these requests to mentor, and by the way, I've been a beneficiary of mentorship, but I had a struggle in saying yes because it's very hard for me given the demands of my growing businesses, in addition to the fact that they're investor backed. So I have obligations and things that I need to do and focus on to achieve all of the goals and objectives, of course, that I have with respect to my various companies. So I figured out that I could provide this mentoring by establishing my mentoring program called Possibility Architect. So I encourage you to check it out. Go to possibilityarchitect.com or use my name and Possibility Architect, and you'll come up on a free masterclass where I talk about things such as how to generate revenue, how to approach your sales from a really important strategy, how to differentiate selling from being of value. That's a really key thing. And so what I do during these weekly live Facebook Lives and things like that is also share some of that knowledge with you. I hope you'll join me there, and I hope to see you next week. Take care.